Time to give you the starting lineups first for the visiting Manchester Monarchs, as they'll have the top scoring line in the league out there. Their top set from left to right of Justin Auger, Jordan Wheel, and Brian O'Neill. O'Neill and Wheel are first and fourth respectively in the AHL in scoring. They're also up there at first and third in terms of assists. The defensive pairing, a pretty familiar one for the Bruins. Andrew Bodnarchuk, the former P. Bruin, and Vincent Laverde, the Monarchs captain. Jean-Francois Berube, who is second in the league in minutes, gets the start in net. He's playing his 44th game of the year at the AHL level with a record of 29, 8, and 4. He has a pair of shutouts, a 2.11 goals against average, and a save percentage of .916. The Bruins will counter with a forward line of Justin Floric, Andrew Chernachan, and Rob Flick from left to right. Defensively, it's Steve Eminger and Chris Casto paired together, while Malcolm Subban makes his 30th appearance of the season to match Jeremy Smith for the team lead in that category. Malcolm is 14, 10, and 4 thus far this year with a couple of shutouts, a 2.38 goals against average, and a .924 save percentage. As the Monarchs control it, and it's immediately picked off by Flick just inside his own blue line. Dumped back to Casto as Chris comes back up into the slot, passes beyond Wheel, and it's chipped back in by the Monarchs. Manchester will get a complete substitution as the Bruins get some new forwards. Eminger into the neutral zone, gains the red line as well, snaps it off the wall. Settled behind the cage by Berube as the Monarchs try to cycle it out the far side of the zone. Jeff Schultz, near side for Laverde, turned over, back to the blue line. Morrow slapper wide. At the right point, it's Griffith cutting it off at the half wall. He'll put it into the circle off the stick of Koklachev. Over to the near side. Coco to the hash marks forward, but Backman beats him to it. Looking back toward Colin Miller and chipped away from all of them. Michael Mersch over, but can't get it out. In the slot, Rister for Carey, and a save made by Berube. His first on the first shot of the night, a minute and 9 seconds into the game. The Bruins and the Monarchs have a very tight season series with only 2 games remaining, including tonight. After today's contest, there's one more to wrap up the regular season on Sunday, April 19th. That is, of course, unless the teams play in the playoffs, though that would be fairly unlikely given the Monarchs' position atop the conference and the Bruins currently in 5th. However, it's not completely to be ruled out yet. In the far corner, falling down, is Kane drawing a penalty against the Monarchs, so the Bruins will have an opportunity to pull closer to Manchester in yet another category, this time on the man advantage. The Monarchs are first in the league, a 20.9% success rate. The Bruins in third at 20.2%. Providence has scored 48 power play goals in 238 tries. And heading to the box this time is Derek Forbort. So the Bruins already with the first shot of the game will have an opportunity with the first man advantage. On the far side, Griffith wins it back to Morrow, to the wall for Eminger. Tipped back to Eminger, cross ice. Morrow fakes a slapper, puts it along the boards. Griffith back to Morrow again. Slapper in front, bad save. It looks like it actually got hit in the slot. Chipped away by Griffith toward the wall. Koklachev vying for it, Carey there as well. Tossed by Schultz to the wall. Eminger puts it back behind the cage. Koklachev into the circle, Carey unable to handle it. And instead it ends up all the way back in the Providence end. 1:30 remains on the Forbort minor as Morrow gets it cross ice. Into the zone comes Griffith. Near side, Carey. Being pestered, gets knocked onto Koklachev. Coco takes a spill. Morrow up the left wing wall with the puck still. He gets knocked over, retrieved by Koklachev going around the cage. Back out to the right point for Eminger. Walking the line, left side for Griffith. Seth approaching the left wing circle. Stops at the hash marks. Cross ice pass off of Eminger's stick and out of his zone. Half of the penalty remains as the Monarchs try to kill another one off. Manchester is 12th in the league on the penalty kill, allowing 40 goals and 260 tries, which is an 84.6% kill rate. The team has scored 9 shorthanded goals. The Bruins have allowed 6. Koklachev, left wing corner, leaving it along the wall looking for Griffith, but Seth lost track of it. Carey not there in time either, and it's knocked away toward Bodnarchuk. Andrew will clear it, though it gets off the high stick of Seth Griffith and still goes into the Providence end. 30 seconds remain on the Forbort minor. Bruins on a 2-on-2. Floric to the far side, and Warwick is offside as Phillips walked it over the line. The Bruins had a shot before the man advantage, and they've had just one on the power play as they try to pull ahead of the Manchester Monarchs. The Bruins in 10 previous games have 11 points against the Monarchs, while Manchester has 10 points in those 10 games. Each team with 5 victories. The difference is the Bruins managed a defeat in overtime earlier this year. Schultz sends it to the near side of his zone, but Cross holds it in. Wearick looking toward the corner, tipped in front for Phillips, knocked away. At the right side, Trotman, wrister blocked in front, retrieved and hacked off the wall as the penalty comes to an end with the Monarchs clearing. Subban will settle it outside his cage, and it's back to even strength for the visiting team. 3.5 minutes in, 0-0 the score. Floric backhands it into the zone. Takes a hard but clean hit from Colin Miller along the left wing wall. And Manchester clears again. Castro walked in after gloving it down. But he had both Tyler Randall on the right side and Anthony Camara on the left, offside. The Bruins will use the opportunity to get a new defensive pairing. The Monarchs with some changes as well, including their blue liners. The drop comes just outside the Manchester line in front of the Monarchs bench. And it's one back deep into Providence territory beyond Frankie Simonelli's reach. Frankie was a late addition to the lineup today. Wasn't supposed to be one of the 19 skaters on the ice, but Colin Stewart wasn't healthy enough to play. Corey Kane is in the lineup for him. And after that point, they were supposed to have Stewart as the 19th skater, but instead Simonelli came in for warm-ups and Chris Breen got sick, so he is out of the lineup today. Dumped back into the offensive zone for the home team as Providence gets a complete change, and the Monarchs get a swap as well. Manchester, 4+ minutes in, still without a shot on goal, in a matchup between Jean-Francois Berube and Malcolm Subban. On the far side of the Monarchs zone, it's Wheel getting it back over the blue line, but Castro intercepts at the red. He'll lift it into the offensive zone. Settled by Schultz in the trapezoid. Forbort, who committed the penalty that was of no consequence to the Monarchs, takes it to the far side and takes a shove from Flick. Vying for it is Floric, getting it past Auger, held in by Chernachan. He'll pass it to the left point. Eminger into the circle, backhand in front, and stripped was Chernachan as he approached the near post. He otherwise could have had a pretty decent bid on the backhand near side. In the offensive end is Wheel for the Monarchs. Tip to O'Neill behind the cage. Brian O'Neill, left wing side, pass knocked off of Flick's skate, and it bounces back over the Manchester line. The Monarchs still without an opportunity as Laverde tips it into the slot, and it goes just wide off of Wheel's stick. Morrow puts it in the corner. Wheel intercepts. Koklachev pestering him. Back to the blue line. Bondarchuk, wrister, tipped down in front, off the post and wide. Backhander saved by Subban and corralled by Alexander Koklachev. He'll shovel it out of the zone, but the Monarchs recover. Back in his Wheel, but he's stripped from behind as it's gathered by Carey, who's unable to clear. On the far side, faking it, slapper, save for Subban. Into the slot goes Griffith. He's stripped along the way. Dowd centering feed off of Mersch's skate, and Carey will take it out of the zone. He'll knock it over the blue line as well as the Bruins get a complete change. Manchester with 3 bids in a row just before 6 minutes have come off the clock here in the first. Zach Trotman over to Joe Morrow. He'll toss it up the wall, slowing things down but unable to keep it in is Backman. Wearick over to it but chipped away by Miller. Carry to the loose puck, skates into the neutral zone. As Manchester gets a change, the Bruins getting a swap of their own. Into the zone is Wearick, left wing side, slapper and a save by Berube as he holds on with 13:42 to go in the first. We'll take our first scheduled break with the team scoreless and having 3 shots apiece on the Providence Bruins Broadcast Network.
Hey Rhode Island, it's time for you to finally redo that outdated kitchen and to finish that nagging basement. Atlas Home Improvement can help with all of your home improvement needs. We specialize in kitchen and bathroom remodeling, attic and basement finishing, and even floors, doors, and window installation. Give us a call at 401-447-0397 for a free home estimate. Together with Atlas Home Improvement, you can create the home of your dreams. It's time for Glistening Skin. Glistening Goddesses specializes in custom spray tanning, facials, and waxing, and offers the ultimate spray tanning experience. The safe, healthy, and sexy alternative to UV indoor or outdoor tanning, Spray tanning will keep your tan and your skin healthy, wrinkle-free, and cancer-free. Our solution is custom matched to your skin tone by an experienced spray tan specialist, and all tans are backed with a no orange guarantee.
The Bruins and the Monarchs are scoreless through the first 6+ minutes at the dunk as the draw is one back to the point. Drive in front, tip down over is Werik, his backhander saved. Rebound out into the crease as the Bruins still try for it. Finally covered up by Berube. Right out of the draw, the Bruins come up firing. But Jean-Francois Berube with a couple of big stops on the far side of the crease. .34 is left in the first as Providence has a handful of shots against Berube and 3 bids from the Monarchs on Malcolm Subban. Ethan Werik will take the draw on the right wing circle, wins it back to Eminger, top of the slot. Casto far side, wrister blocked in the circle, carried out by Backman, or Wheel rather, puts it into the offensive zone. Auger fighting in the left wing corner with Casto, swept away by Phillips. Along the wall, Bondarchuk, wrister off of Malcolm Subban. Chipped off the wall and out of the zone by Tyler Randall. That will go wide of Berube's cage, but icing waved off. The Bruins will get a forward swap. The Monarchs with the puck in their own end. O'Neill cross ice as Flick comes in on the forecheck, but it's tipped away back toward the red line. Casto takes a shove. Manchester ends up with the puck, dumped in, but beyond the reach of O'Neill. So Eminger will get to it first for the home team. In the trapezoid, O'Neill vying for it, but Eminger trying to knock it away from him. Flick gets it cross ice beyond Floric, but Casto there to pick it up. Floric at the red line has it poked away from behind. Casto goes in front of the Providence bench, and this time gets it cross ice, but beyond the reach of Flick. Back in the Manchester zone, it's controlled by the Monarchs on the right wing side. Sabourin steps over the blue line. He's stripped by Morrow, but gets it back in the corner. Centering feed off the stick of Josh Gratton and hacked back over the red line. The Monarchs with a couple of decent opportunities, the Bruins with some as well. Right now it's scoreless though, as it's picked up on the far side. Gratton puts it off the wall. Sabourin centering feed, no one home. Trotman over to it for the Bruins. He'll push forward but beyond Randall. And it's sent back through the neutral zone by the Monarchs. Over to the loose puck is Morrow, looking for Camara as Anthony couldn't handle it with a backhand. Instead it's dumped back behind Subban's cage. Malcolm is playing in his 6th game of the season series versus Manchester. He's 2-2-1 in his first 5 with 13 goals allowed. Entering today's contest, he had a 2.56 goals against average and a save percentage of .906. So his 5 for 5 thus far will bring both of those numbers down very slightly. Jean-Francois Berube, meanwhile, has played 7 games against the Providence Bruins. He's 4-2-0 with 14 goals allowed, which is a 2.19 goals against and a .918 save percentage, not including tonight's stats. For him, he's right around the same kind of goaltender against the Bruins as he is against the rest of the league. So very consistent for the Monarchs netminder. The defense pretty good in front of him as well, and good offensively in addition. Sean Backman pokes it over the blue line, retrieved on the near side of the zone by Simonelli, and Frankie clears. Doesn't get far enough for icing as Colin Miller is back to retrieve it. 10 minutes and 45 seconds remain in the first. Each team scoreless, but both with 5 shots. Trotman at the red line rifles it back in off the right wing corner glass. Retrieved on the left side by Koklachev. His drive deflected wide. Glove down by Trotman in the far circle. He'll put it in the trapezoid. Over is Griffith. Toward the slot, stripped before he could get there. Koklachev to it, back up off the boards. Looking for Morrow, but it's picked off. Sent over the red line. Into the offensive zone far side. Crescenzi shot and a save by Subban. A couple of shoves after the whistle between Crescenzi and Morrow. And there's a history there, as Crescenzi actually kneed Morrow in a previous game. Crescenzi was suspended, and Morrow was out for a while with a knee injury. The officials very quickly over to break it up, luckily. Ed Boyle and Todd Whittemore, the linesmen. Trevor Hansen, the head ref. Both teams will get line changes as Morrow chats along with Hansen and then goes back toward the bench as well. The ensuing face-off will come in Subban's end to Malcolm's right. Andrew Chernichin on it for Providence, and Jordan Wheel for Manchester. So it's the top line on the ice for the visiting team, second liners for the home squad. Flick vying for it along with Eminger, as it's still in the circle, finally tipped away by Auger, but Eminger able to knock it free. Flick at the hash mark, stripped from behind by Auger, fell to his knees, gets back up, but Auger passes back to the blue line. Forward shot blocked, back to Gravel, hacks it off the wall into the trapezoid. Casso there just ahead of Jordan Wheel. Will backhand it up the boards. Near side held in by Gravel. He'll walk up the right wing wall. Rister tipped down in front, blocked by Eminger, and tossed off the glass by Flick. Floric racing ahead, but getting to it just in time to prevent a mini breakaway as Forboy. He has it turned over though. Floric left wing circle, centering feed off of Flick. Back toward Casto as he loses it in between the wickets. And Auger backhands it away. Casto gloved it down and couldn't quite find out where the puck went. He'll get back to it in his own end and put it over the blue line. Kane, right wing side, cross ice, Flick with a chance shot, tipped in front and in for Andrew Chernichin. A beautiful move by Flick as Chernichin deposits it past the far post, and the Bruins draw first blood. The Bruins take the lead here at home on a nifty move by Rob Flick in the slot, getting it past the stick of the defenseman, and Chernichin tosses it in for the 1-0 lead. Providence has the advantage just beyond the halfway point of the first period. Each team with 6 shots. Chernichin the lone goal, as Chern scores his 7th goal in the AHL this season between Springfield and Providence. Back into the neutral zone is Scott Sabrin, a P. Bruins killer, who gets into the left wing corner. He'll wrap around the cage to the right side. Shot and in, 5-hole on Subban. Within a minute of the Bruins taking the lead, it has already been relinquished as Sabrin lights the lamp against the Providence Bruins once again. The success continues for Sabrin against Providence as he gets another lamplighter. This year his first, but his 4th in the last season plus. So the Bruins strike first and allow the game-tying goal, all within a minute. 8:58 remains in the first, 1-1 the score. On the near side, it's off the wall and beyond the red line. Monarchs tossing it into the zone. Over his backman, loses track of it. Morrow back to the puck, wrapping around down, but his shot blocked. Phillips back over to it. Zach stripped by Michael Mersch and passed backward by Sabrin to maintain possession for his team. And it appears that they'll give the goal to Josh Gratton, the primary helper to Scott Sabrin, as the shot from Backman is saved by Subban and pushed up the wall. Kane into the neutral zone, cross ice, getting it back from Phillips, left wing circle. Kane shot in front, pad save, rebound tipped wide of Randall. He'll go to the corner for it. Has help behind him from Sexton, or rather Warwick, during the Bruins line change. His shot blocked by Berube. Retrieved in the slot. Phillips over to it. Puts it deeper in the zone, but intercepted and carried back into the neutral zone by Jeff Schultz. With fewer than 8 minutes to go in the first, the Bruins and the Monarchs are tied at 1. On the near side, David Vandergulik has help from O'Brien, but stripped by Koklachev. Coco in a 4-on-3 if the team hurries. To Griffith, left wing side. By the dot, one-timer, Koklachev over the crossbar and off of the glass. Manchester coming back 3-on-2. Again on the left wing side for them. Shot for O'Brien, saved by Subban, and Malcolm smothers the rebound just outside the crease. With 7:28 to go in the first, we'll take another break here on the Providence Bruins Broadcast Network. The Bruins won and the Monarchs won.
Your health is the most valuable asset that you have. The physical therapists at Healy Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine understand how important it is to keep you in the game of life, work, and sports. Regardless of your age, the experienced therapists at Healy Physical Therapy will customize a treatment plan that will get you results by using a top-notch, innovative approach to people with musculoskeletal, orthopedic, sports, neurological, and work-related injuries. Located in the state-of-the-art facility in East Providence, you can find out more at HealyPhysicalTherapy.com or call 401-438-0905.
The AHL season is here, and AHL Live is your ticket to all the action. AHL Live has every game, including both home and away commentary. Watch live or on demand, full or condensed games. Watch free highlights from around the league. With streaming to your tablet, phone, or computer, you'll never miss a moment of the action. Plus, you can watch up to 4 games at once on your PC with Quad View. Single game, multi-game, and season passes are available. If you want all the action of the AHL, then you need AHL Live.
The Bruins and the Monarchs have each lit the lamp here in the opening period as Providence struck first and the visiting team retaliated less than a minute later. Andrew Chernachan and Josh Gratton the goals. For Gratton, it is his 5th of the season. Scott Sabrin, the primary helper on the play. That came after Churn lit the lamp for his 7th time in the 2014-2015 campaign. In the far circle, Jordan Wheel will battle Andrew Chernachan. Malcolm Subban looking on from just outside the crease. Looking over to his right. It's 4-on-4 for the next couple of minutes. Andrew Crescenzi and Tommy Cross getting into it after the whistle. And both going into the box for roughing Miners. Floric into the zone, 1-on-1, top of the slot. Looked like he had Eminger offside. So that will stop the clock with 11 seconds run off the 4-on-4. The Bruins have 8 shots against Jean-Francois Berube. The Monarchs with 9 against Malcolm Subban in the second to last matchup between the Bruins and the Manchester Monarchs ever in the regular season. The Monarchs will be moving west. They'll play their games in Ontario, California, the current home of the ECHL affiliate of the LA Kings. The Verizon Wireless Arena will not be without hockey next year, though. The ECHL affiliate that's currently in Ontario will move to Manchester in the offseason. Floric gets back into the offensive zone, this time on the right wing side, toward the circle, looking for Eminger, and it's blocked. Recovered behind the cage. Floric beyond Bodnar-Chuk, trying to get it back along the right wing wall. Eminger holding the line, wrister in front, saved by Berube, and he'll hold on before Seth Griffith can creep over to the crease. The Manchester Monarchs, for the entirety of this season, have been one of the best teams both in the Eastern Conference and in the league. They currently sit atop the Atlantic Division with 84 points in 61 games. So for the Bruins to catch them for the division, Providence would have to pretty much hope that Manchester doesn't register any more points the rest of the year, and the Bruins continue at their current pace. In the conference, Manchester is first, 1 point ahead of Hershey, but with 2 games in hand. Trotman at the top of the slot to the far side for Joe Morrow. He'll hack it off the wall. Griffith in the trapezoid looking for Koklachev. Tipped back to the far side of the zone. Nicked out over to it. Gets back into neutral territory. Chipped away from the red line and back towards Subban. Malcolm corrals it with the stick and covers up before Auger could find himself in the crease. 59 seconds remain in the 4-on-4. The Bruins are currently in 5th place in the Eastern Conference with 77 points. 1 point behind the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins for 4th. However, the Penguins have played 1 fewer game and have 3 more regulation and OT wins, which means that they hold a couple of different tiebreakers over the Bruins. Unless the Penguins go on a losing skid, Providence will most likely have to finish ahead of the Penguins as the save is made by Subban if Providence wants to be in the top half of the Eastern Conference. However, they have a somewhat comfortable lead, if you can call it that, over the Portland Pirates. A 3-point edge, though Portland has 2 games in hand. It is a lot wider a gap than it had been for the last week and a half, as the Pirates have been on an absolute tear, but have been unable to gain very much ground on the Bruins because Providence has been equally impressive. In their last 10 games, the Bruins are 7-1-1-1. The Portland Pirates 8-1-0-1 in that same stretch. 20 seconds remain in the 4-on-4 in a game that is tied at a goal apiece. Seth Griffith in the left wing corner takes a hit but stays with the puck past Colin Miller. He'll get it up toward the left wing hash marks as he's stripped from behind by Miller, and the loose puck is carried out of the zone. Vandergulik knocked over by Eminger. And the whistle blows to stop the clock with 5:30 to go in the period. And 3 seconds left on the 4-on-4. After the offside whistle, we'll take our final break of the period in a tie game on the Providence Bruins Broadcast Network.
Look out in the street there. You know what you don't see? My car. Because I had to sell it to pay the lawyer I hired when I got busted for drunk driving. Know what else you don't see? My girlfriend, who decided that a guy with no car and no license and no money was no fun. So now she's going out with that creep Nathan.
Cops are out there, and they'll see you before you see them. They're cracking down on drinking and driving all across the country. Drive sober or get pulled over.
Sponsored by the Rhode Island Department of Transportation.
Mayhem is everywhere.
I'm that guy with all the bumper stickers. I'd rather be driving a golf ball, but I'm going to buy American-made products with my 5th grade honor student. And if you can read these stickers, you're driving too close. So when I brake for a dog, happens. So coexist with Allstate, where agents help keep you protected from mayhem.
Like me.
The Bruins and the Monarchs each have a goal with 5.5 minutes to go in the first as Manchester sends the draw back into the Monarchs' end. On the far side is Derek Forbort, and the penalties expire for Cross and Crescenzi, so it's back to 5-on-5. On the far side, the pass tipped away, retrieved by O'Brien. He's stripped by Flick as Rob tries to tip it back into the corner. Over is Kane to Cross. Tommy being pestered from both directions as Crescenzi can't corral it. Instead, Kane pushes it ahead. Werrick back to Kane over the red line. Gaining the blue line on the left wing side. Getting past Colin Miller. But over is Gravel. He'll tap it off the wall. Up by the hash marks. Turned over again. Kane with Werrick in the near side. Trying to push it back toward the hash marks. Gravel trying to knock it away. Ends up in the possession of his defensive pair in Derek Forbort. He takes a shove but gets the puck away first. Back to Gravel. Over to O'Brien who's stripped. Phillips to the loose puck. Left wing side. Wrister blocked and ends up in the far corner. Gathered by Forbort as the Bruins empty the zone for a change. The Monarchs getting ready for a change of their own. Manchester with 11 shots. Providence with 10. 1-1 the score as Crescenzi gets it into the trapezoid and takes a hit. Loose puck gathered by Floric as Justin pushes it off the wall and goes cross ice. Glove down by Chernachan, who chips it up into the netting of the near side. The Monarchs, as we mentioned, have been an effective team throughout this entire season. Lately, some decent play. They picked up 5 out of a possible 6 points in their 3-game series with the St. John's Ice Caps, playing on the 11th, 13th, and 14th. An OT loss sandwiched in between a couple of wins. Before that, it was a win in Hartford as part of a 2-win weekend to begin the month of March. So the Monarchs have a couple more games to play than the Bruins the rest of the way. As we look in the media kit that the AHL provides for every single game in the league. And you can tell it's getting late in the season when you have to turn to the second page to see which game it is for the respective teams. Back in the neutral zone is Vincent Laverde, but he's stripped. Laverde gets back to it ahead of Justin Floric, and it's tapped back to the far side of the ice. Bondarchuk cross ice as both teams get changes. Walking in is O'Neill on the right wing side. He'll go back along the wall looking for Jordan Wheel, but tipped back along the boards. On the near side is O'Neill. Right wing hash marks, puts it in the corner again. This time guided aside by Josh Gratton. Back to the left wing side. Schultz puts it deep into the corner. Casto knocked over by Gratton. Coming over to help him is Camara. Casto trying to knock it free. Tipped out into the slot, but gathered by Eminger. Steve will hack it off the glass, backhand, and into the Monarchs' end. Retrieved by Schultz as both teams get substitutions again. Over the line is Colin Miller. Left wing circle. Falls over as he was contested by Frankie Simonelli. Wraparound attempt for Gratton is blocked. Cross back over to it. Tommy sends it for Anthony Camara out of the zone. In neutral territory, chipped back in by Schultz and the Monarchs as Manchester gets a substitution. Cross Going cross ice for Simonelli. Frankie's pass beyond Tyler Randall's reach. And that will go for icing with 2:29 to go in the opening period. The Bruins scored first, courtesy of Andrew Chernachan. But more recently, Josh Gratton and the visiting team lit the lamp, which was less than a minute later to tie it up at 1 apiece. In this season series, the Bruins currently hold the lead of 1 point with 12 points in the 10 games versus 11 for Manchester. The most recent game came back on February 16th, so it's been more than a month than the Bruins have faced the Monarchs. And that came after a stretch of 3 times in 11 days that they squared off. On the left side is Bodnarchuk going into the corner, cuts back toward the hash marks. Sexton challenging him as Bods puts it in the far corner for Dowd. Beyond his reach, over his backman to retrieve it. He gets challenged by Cross. Retrieved at the top of the slot. Shot saved off of Subban, but then in. It went off of Malcolm's right skate and into the back of the cage to give the Monarchs a 1-goal lead late in the first period. So Manchester has scored a couple of goals in a row and taken a 1-goal advantage here at the Dunk. Let's go Bruins is the chant from the crowd as Providence continues a tough first period here at home. The Bruins have been fantastic in this building, not losing in regulation since January 11th against the Portland Pirates. Koklachev wins it back to the blue line, and Zach Trotman tosses it ahead. Griffith gets hit and loses the puck in the process. Backman in his own end shovels it in front of the Monarchs bench. Mersch coming back up over the Providence line, left wing side, challenged by Trotman. Zach trying to backhand it away. Mersch puts it in the corner instead. Dowd over to the near side, wrapping around the cage and having it escape his grasp is Backman. Instead, Carey tosses it ahead. Koklachev with Griffith 2-on-2 on the right wing side. Koklachev tips it back toward the slot, but swept away by Mersch. Carey back for the loose puck, stripped, but Koklachev there to retrieve it. Koko on the right side, back to Griffith in the slot. Backhander to Morrow, left wing side, slapper wide of the net. Runs up the wall and Trotman holds it in. Zach tosses it to Koklachev at the boards, now for Griffith, top of the slot. Morrow left side again, by the dot, tipped in front, and a diving save by Berube. Loose puck in the slot, tipped wide, and carried away by Dowd. The Bruins with another chance in front, but an incredible stop for Berube. And the Monarchs defense got to it before anyone with a black and gold sweater could. Just over a minute remains in the first as the Monarchs hold a 1-goal lead. It's tossed off the glass and bounces into the Providence end. Steve Eminger over to it as he's challenged by O'Brien and Crescenzi. Crescenzi back up the right wing wall. Eminger kicks it away. Floric looking for Chernachan. Still gets it out of the zone despite the deflection. O'Brien stripped from behind. Eminger puts it back over the red line. Bodnarchuk playing keep away with Laverde in his own end as the teams get ready for perhaps their final changes of the period. 30 seconds remain in the first, and it's turned over. Floric over the blue line, right wing circle, stopping short. Stripped from behind by Bodnarchuk. There to help, but it's recovered by Bodnarchuk, and he'll pass it back over the red line. Into the zone is Vandergulik, tossed away from him. Flick chops it into the zone with just more than 10 seconds to go in the frame, and Schultz will settle behind the cage. On the forecheck, Chernachan, but he'll back off as the Bruins get another swap, and the Monarchs get it into the neutral zone. O'Neill into offensive territory, puts it in the right wing circle. Wheel runs out of time before getting a shot off, and it hits Malcolm Subban's chest after the whistle. After a period at the Dunk, it's the Monarchs 2 and the Bruins 1. We'll be back with more of the first period, or the first intermission report rather, right here on the Providence Bruins Broadcast Network. As we take a look at the game sheet, the Providence Bruins scored first back in the first. Andrew Chernachan, his 7th goal of the year from Rob Flick and Corey Kane. However, Josh Gratton scored at 11:02 of the frame, his 5th of the year from Scott Sabrin. Then Kevin Gravel lit the lamp at 17:48, his 5th of the year, while Sean Backman and Derek Forborn both had the assists. In the first, the Monarchs outshot the Bruins 12-11. Malcolm Subban had 10 saves, as did Jean-Francois Berube. The Bruins were 0 for 1 on the only power play that came their way. Providence will go from left to right across your radio, phone, tablet, or computer, no matter how you tuned in for this evening's contest. No matter what, we're happy to have you. In the opening frame, the team leader in time on ice was Chris Casto with 7 minutes and 28 seconds of time on the ice. Forward-wise, it was a little bit more balanced. Seth Griffith had 6 minutes and 37 seconds, and he was the one that played more than anyone else in that opening frame in terms of the Providence forwards. Out at center ice is Andrew Chernichan, joined just as he was in the first period by Jordan Wheel to oppose him. The Monarchs with the top scoring line in the league, including 2 of the top 4 scorers in the league on it, as it's dumped back behind Berube's cage. On the near side, Andrew Bodnarchuk feeding Wheel back over toward Laverde, who will get into neutral territory. Picks up the red line and the blue on the left wing side. Toward the dot, Rister saved by Subban. Rebound on the far side, knocked, and the cage gets pushed away. Hopping off the ice for a moment, landing back up against the wall. Now after the whistle, the gloves dropping. Chernichan looking to get into it along with Wheel and tabletops him, then falls on top of him. There should be penalties aplenty here, maybe not just from the 2 of them. O'Neill getting into it with Chris Castro, at least in terms of words, as Malcolm Subban looks on nonchalantly from the crease, not all that far away. Andrew Chernichan took exception to whatever it was that happened right in front of the cage and absolutely decked Wheel. So it appears that Manchester will have its first man advantage of the contest, but that is unless, of course, Wheel picks up a penalty as well. Neither penalty box door has opened just yet. The net still up against the wall in the trapezoid. So this middle period has gotten off to even more an exciting start than the first did, as Manchester tries to pick up another couple of points in the standings. The Monarchs, according to the site sportsclubstats.com, have a 99.99% chance of making the playoffs. For them, the most likely seed in the playoffs is first in the Eastern Conference. They have a 62% chance of landing that spot, a 28% chance of being second, a 7% chance of being third in the conference, and miraculously, a 1% of fourth and a 2% chance of fifth place. So although they've been incredible, the division isn't wrapped up, and there's still a chance that they could not make the playoffs. However, it would take a complete collapse and a lot of things for other teams to go against Manchester for it to even be a possibility, let alone a likelihood. The gloves have dropped already. Sabrin getting into it with Simonelli. Randall over as well with Grattan, and the officials over before anything could develop. Now Sabrin getting into it with Cross instead as the gloves have dropped, and they appear content to let him go. Cross a couple of jabs, though both helmets are still on, as Tommy gets pushed to a knee, and before Sabrin can get another punch, he's separated from the pile. So it's a fighting major for Cross and Sabrin, though you could argue that the altercation between Chernichan and Wheel in the Monarch zone, or the Bruin zone rather, was even more intense. 19:25 remains in the second, as there were just 9 seconds in between stoppages in play from tussles after the whistle. Jean-Francois Berube skates along the goal line into the near corner as his end, or at his end rather, as Tyler Randall goes over to the penalty box and has a few words with Tommy Cross. Tommy has 52 penalty minutes heading into tonight's contest, so he'll inevitably be closer to Rob Flick. Rob is second on the team in penalty minutes with 62. Tyler Randall with exactly 100 leads the team. 2 minutes go up on the board for Scott Sabrin, so he'll be in there most likely for 7 minutes. Sabrin is now up to 98 penalty minutes on the season if he gets a minor and a major. it appears that's what will happen as Cross is still in the box. So he'll get a fighting major as well. And the Bruins go on the power play for the second time. Seth Griffith pitted against Nick Dowd in the near circle, won by Dowd into the corner, and Miller wrists it away to start the kill. Sabourin gets a roughing minor attached to his fighting major as the Bruins get back into the neutral zone. Griffith with speed over to Carey, right wing circle. In the dot, passes back off the wall. Eminger to the far side. Morrow slap pass over toward Griffith. Seth approaching the circle, dishes back. Morrow slap pass into the near circle. Eminger shot tipped away and goes to the wall. Dowd not there in time as Griffith puts it in the corner. Koklachev back over to Eminger, but it's wristed away. And that will go the length of the ice again for the second clear for Manchester. 40 seconds into the penalty kill. 18:40 remains in the second with the Bruins down 2-1. Griffith going cross ice. Koklachev over the line. Leaves it for Griffith left point. Seth along the wall. Goes toward the hash marks rather. Passes to Koklachev behind the goal line. Back to Griffith in the circle. Seth approaches the dot. Holds still. Wrister tipped and in. A deflection in front. Looked like it was off of Carey's stick as a shot that looked destined for the right wing corner ends up between the pipes instead. And the Bruins score on the power play for the 49th time this season to tie the game at 2. It's a power play goal for Seth Griffith and the Providence Bruins. And it knots the game up once again. Almost exactly halfway through the penalty to Sabourin, the Bruins capitalize. And it results in another tie contest. 2-2 to score with fewer than 2 minutes run off the clock here in the second. So the Monarchs' lead lasted fewer than 4 minutes as Chris Casto dukes it out along the wall with Justin Auger, who's able to clear. Griffith gets credit for the goal. It's Seth's 12th of the season, while Alexander Koklachev gets the lone assist. Now a slapper saved by Subban from the far circle. And the Bruins will carry it back out into the offensive end. Flick, right wing circle, Rister just wide of the cage. On the far side, O'Neill puts it away. Auger in the red wing, or red line rather, puts it over his own line backward, and Wheel is able to dump it in. Not getting back in time is Flick. It looked like it was off a Providence stick, and instead it's icing on the home team. In the near circle of the Providence end, it's won by Crescenzi and the Monarchs. Top of the slot, Laverde, Rister, wide of the net, recovered by Backman. His one-timer off the side of the net. Retrieved and covered up by Subban as Malcolm knelt on the edge of the crease and reached back in to cover up. 17:34 remains in the second as the Bruins and Monarchs are tied at a goal apiece. In the Eastern Conference, the Bruins are currently 5th, and they'll stay that way through today, regardless of what happens. However, if the Pirates win and the Bruins lose, Portland will be within 1 point with 2 games in hand against Providence. A week from tomorrow, the Bruins will play at Cross Insurance Arena in what is sure to be a pretty exciting game with plenty of Calder Cup playoff implications. The Bruins, a week from today, will face the Hartford Wolfpack, who are currently in 7th, also 3 points behind the Bruins with 1 game in hand on Providence. And the Wolfpack currently lead their contest. So depending on what happens tomorrow, the Bruins might not be in 5th place anymore. They could be as low as 7th place. As the puck is picked up in the far corner by Corey Kane, intercepted by Mersch, shot tipped away by Subban off of his stick into the left wing corner. Another shot, this time a pad save, and it's knocked off the wall. Phillips putting it in the corner for Morrow. Over to Zach Trotman, who sends it far side. Kane chopping it out. Back in neutral territory for the Monarchs is Nick Dowd. His pass ahead, and Mersch drags it in. He's challenged by Morrow. Loose puck gathered by Phillips. Cross ice for Kane. Corey into the zone. Wrister tipped off Laverde's stick and into the trapezoid. Kane unable to control it. Instead, Laverde puts it back over to Nick Down on the far side. The Bruins get ready for a substitution 3.5 minutes into the second. The Monarchs preparing for one as well. In the neutral zone, it's Laverde back over the line as the teams get their changes. Left wing side, Laverde puts it in the trapezoid. O'Brien challenged by Simonelli. Over for the Bruins is Carey. Vandergulik giving him a few stick checks to try to knock it away. Picked up back behind the cage by O'Brien. Loose puck scoots into the far corner. Bruins possessing it. Eminger up the near side wall. Sends it off the boards, but Crescenzi intercepts. He'll put it into the circle. Vandergulik forehand, backhand, losing the puck on the far side, but rebound buried by O'Brien. It looked like Vandergulik lost it, not intending to pass, but O'Brien was there and buried it regardless to give the Monarchs their second lead, this time at 3-2. So the Bruins give up another go-ahead goal for the Monarchs shortly after tying the game. It's an even strength goal for Manchester, and Malcolm Subban has been pulled. He'll head into the chute and turn around just before he gets out of sight. Looks like he's chatting with the Bruins equipment managers, the head manager Jason Berger and the assistant Sean Hendricks. Jeremy Smith comes in, relieving Malcolm Subban as Smith plays in his 31st game of the year. Jeremy has a record of 17, 8, and 5 with 2 shutouts, a 1.96 goals against average, and a save percentage of .936. He's among the league leaders in both of those categories, as it's controlled by Andrew Crescenzi. He'll get back into the neutral zone, picking up the blue line. Right wing side, back here in front, through the crease and wide. Picked up by Griffith, cross ice, and carried back in. Seth on the blue line on the right wing side, shoved down by Schultz, unable to keep it in. Casto trailing him, couldn't get to it either. Instead, it's guided into the zone by Miller as the Monarchs get ready for a forward change. In neutral territory, Miller puts it back in the offensive zone. Casto there, but hit by O'Neill, unable to get there in time. Retrieved by Koklachev, who tips it back over the red line and the blue. It's tipped, so icing will be avoided, and Providence gets a complete change as a result. 15 minutes remaining in the second as each team has scored here in the second. 3-2 Manchester, the mark right now, as Jeremy Smith tosses it aside with his stick. Eminger has some help from Trotman behind him as Zach picks it up on the near side of the Providence end. Randall in neutral territory. Tosses it over the blue line. In the corner, retrieved by Forbort. He's challenged on the near side by Ben Sexton, looking for Randall. Sexton at the hash marks, leaves it in the corner. Randall wrapping around the cage, backhander in front, off of the stick of Camara, and into the right wing hash marks. Anthony gets it to the blue line. Trotman, wrister blocked. Sexton vying for it, but chipped away by Forbort. Retrieved by Grattan, who backhands it out of the zone. And Zach Trotman races into the near corner of his end to win the icing whistle beyond Sean Backman. 14:23 remains in the second as the Bruins trail the Monarchs 3-2. In the near circle, Seth Griffith battles with Ryan Horvat. One-timer by Koklachev, blocked from the near side as Coco gets sticked down. Griffith to the top of the slot. Wrister for Casto. Pad save Berube. Retrieved in the far side by Backman, who puts it off the glass to the other end. Won't go far enough for icing, and Casto too close to it as well, as Manchester gets a quick defensive swap. Bruins back in the neutral zone. Koklachev over the blue line. At the top of the slot, leaves it for Griffith. Seth spinning around to avoid contact. Gets it to Casto, walking the line. Chris on the far side of the zone, looking for Carey, but chipped away from him and sent out by Backman again, this time hopping up over the bench and out of play. With 13:49 remaining in the second, we'll take a break. It's Manchester 3 and Providence 2 on the Providence Bruins Broadcast Network.
Are you tired of the unpersonalized service that you receive from your current company? Then call T.H. Malloy. They're a full-service fuel oil company keeping Rhode Island and nearby Massachusetts families warm for over 70 years. In addition, T.H. Malloy installs complete heating and cooling systems, automatic delivery of fuel oil, diesel fuel, biofuels, and gasoline. Call us at 401-333-0665. That's 401-333-0665. And keep warm this winter.
Mayhem is everywhere.
I'm that guy with all the bumper stickers. I'd rather be driving a golf ball, but I'm going to buy American-made products with my 5th grade honor student. And if you can read these stickers, you're driving too close. So when I brake for a dog, happens. So coexist with Allstate, where agents help keep you protected from mayhem. Like me.
Call Coventry Allstate agent John Norcia today.
The Bruins are down a goal to the Manchester Monarchs, 3-2 the score, with just fewer than 14 minutes remaining in the second period this evening. On the far side, the slapper blocked as Castro tries desperately to keep it in the zone. Manchester in a 2-on-2 from the far side. O'Neill Rister and Jeremy Smith makes the save after Malcolm Subban was pulled before the break. Malcolm gave up 3 goals in fewer than 16 minutes. Jeremy Smith into the contest now. It's not a surprise to see Manchester leading, since the Monarchs are, after all, the best team in the conference. However, to see it happening here at the Dunk is a bit of a rarity. In the last 5 years at the Dunkin' Donuts Center, the Monarchs are 7-15-2-2, so they've struggled significantly in this building. Their last win here did not happen this season. Looking at the Monarchs' victories, they had a 3-1 win on February 7th at Verizon Wireless Arena. Also had a 2-1 win in overtime in that same building in mid-January. On December 27th, they won in OT against the Bruins in New Hampshire. Also had a 5-4 win at Verizon Wireless Arena on December 20th. Their only other victory was also in Manchester on November 15th, a 5-2 drubbing of the Providence squad. In the neutral zone comes Jordan Wheel. He's stripped by Floric, but the loose puck gathered by Auger, who's able to toss it out. 3-2 Manchester leads with 13 minutes left in the second, as Providence tries to pick up another couple of points in the Eastern Conference standings. Chernachan into the neutral zone, gains the red line, tosses it over the goal line, wide of the net. Berube there, gets it near side during a Bruins change, as it's recovered by Colin Miller. He'll pick up some speed into the Providence end. Drop pass, right point, pass in the slot beyond Vandergulik's reach. He falls over as he lost an edge. Recovered by Crescenzi, his backhander wide. Vandergulik attempting the one-time deflection. Zach O'Brien, who had the last goal, back to Vandergulik up the wall. Intercepted by Casto, who tosses it away. Falling over, Morrow. Recovered, though, by Chernachan on the far side of the Providence end as the Bruins try to clear. In the far corner, shot sticked away by Smith, though it was behind the goal line. Schultz has his pass tipped away. Chance on a breakaway for Griffith, but diving to knock it away from behind is Jeff Schultz to prevent it. The Bruins get a complete substitution minus Griffith and Koklachev. The Monarchs with a change of their own. In neutral territory, it's Dowd who puts it back in the far corner of the Providence zone. Griffith coming back the other way, 3-on-3. Cross ice into the zone is Phillips. Or rather, Camara. He'll go to the left wing hash, back to the line. Backhanded deeper on the far side, all the way around the cage. Forboard getting a piece, but Koklachev recovers. Coco knocked over by Forboard stick check, retrieved by Camara. Over to Griffith, wristed straight into the chest of Jean-Francois Berube and lets it go wide. Nick Dowd over, puts it in the corner. Gravel up ahead to Dowd again. He'll push it back over the blue line. And it's sent into the offensive end by Sean Backman. In the near corner is Dowd, tossing it far side. No one there in a black jersey. Instead, Camara gets it ahead. Over the red line comes Griffith, and he'll toss it in as Seth heads back for a change. 11 minutes remain in the second, with the Monarchs leading the Bruins 3-2. Andrew Bodnarchuk will take the puck next. Puts it over the red line for Josh Gratton. Gratton with one of 3 Manchester goals, but it's dragged away by Trotman. Zach up the far side. Morrow unable to clear, but the loose puck escapes his grasp. Sexton through the neutral zone takes a huge hit along the wall from Laverde. And Laverde lost his stick in the process. In the far corner, Sexton gets a piece, but Laverde tosses it up the wall. Held in with a shot, tipped in and off the glove of Berube. Touched in the slot by Ethan Warwick with one hand on the stick, but unable to beat Berube as Casto goes all the way back to his own zone for it. He'll look for Randall. Tyler unable to get a piece of it, and that is icing on the home team, almost at the halfway point of the period. Scott Sabrin finally let out of the penalty box. Earlier this period, he battled with Tommy Cross. He was also in there for a 2-minute minor, tacked on to the fighting major. The face-off will be in the Providence end. Wheel on it for the visiting team. That's all to the right of Jeremy Smith. Wheel sends it toward the wall, recovered by O'Neill. Bryan approaching the circle, wrister blocked, Wheel to it, his shot saved by Smith. Retrieved up the near side wall, looking for Schultz to the far side. Miller slapper wide of the net, ends up off the back of it. Retrieved by the Monarchs again. Wheel in the far corner toward the circle, back to the line for Miller. His wrister blocked, ends up in the corner. Racing over is O'Neill. Casto shoving him down. One hand on the shoulder, one hand on his stick. Looking for Warwick, but chopped away. O'Neill back to it on the far side, looking for Wheel. Jordan Wheel at the right wing hash marks to the line. Miller cross ice for Schultz. Drive in front, blocked. Smith was screened, but it never got to him. On the near side, tossed off the wall and turned over. Held in by O'Neill, but it was offside as it looked like it went out of the zone. And Schultz tried to toss it back in nonchalantly. With 9:35 to go in the second, we'll take another break. It's the Monarchs 3 and the Bruins 2 on the Providence Bruins Broadcast Network.
Next Gen Mechanical is your full-service mechanical company, providing innovative solutions to our commercial and industrial customers' heating and air conditioning needs. They can provide energy-efficient solutions to business owners and managers looking to address today's rising energy costs by improving the efficiency of their existing systems or installing new state-of-the-art equipment. Their highly trained technicians can service a full range of HVAC equipment, including chillers, rooftop units, and boiler plants. Their many repeat customers are a tribute to their dedication to providing high-quality service with integrity. For more information, call Next Gen Mechanical at 401-921-3211. Next Gen Mechanical, a proud sponsor of the Providence Bruins.
The Bruins are down a goal to the visiting Manchester Monarchs. 3-2 the score with 9:35 to go in the second at the Dunk. The Bruins have won 2 straight games in 7 of their last 10. In that same stretch, the Monarchs have been pretty effective at 6-3-1-0, which has been about on par with their win or their point percentage this season. Manchester enters today with a 689 point percentage, and having a 6-3-1-0 stretch is a 700 win percentage. Toss back into the near corner. Michael Mersch fighting for it, swept away from him. Flick trying for it as well. Chernachan there for the Bruins to push it off the wall. Trotman falls to a knee, and the Monarchs maintain possession. Backman at the left wing wall, trying to push it back to the blue line for Forbort. Keeps it himself for now, gets across ice, and it's off of the stick of Gravel, who goes out of the zone to retrieve it. Forbort near side, looking into the zone as Dowd tosses it toward the left wing corner. Trotman giving him a check along the wall, fighting on the right wing side for it. Stripped away as Mersch puts it back along the wall. Dowd can't get past Trotman without a few more shoves. Zach trying to knock the puck away as well. Up off the stick of Floric with the referee jumping over the stick to avoid being tripped. Flick into the zone, right wing side. Wrister tipped wide and off the left wing corner glass. Fighting for it is Simonelli, looking for Floric during a Bruins change. Tied up by Flick, who backhands it deeper into the corner. Intercepted by Gravel, back toward Forbort now with 8:25 to go in the middle period. Providence scored the first goal. Manchester with 3 of the last 4. The Bruins tied it up at 2 early in this period, and the Monarchs pulled back ahead as it's icing on the home team again. Manchester has 18 bids today against a combination of Malcolm Subban and Jeremy Smith. The Bruins with 13 against Jean-Francois Berube. Today is a bit of an aberration in the early going for Manchester. The Monarchs are a good team when out shooting their opponents, 25-12, 4-2. However, their more impressive record is when they're outshot. It seems the volume of chances for opposing teams hasn't been much of an issue for them. It's the quality of them. Manchester is 12-1-2-0 when the team has fewer shots than the opponent. The Bruins on the other side have a significant edge when they outshoot their opponent and are a 500 team essentially when they do not. Providence this year is 15-11, 4-0 when having fewer bids than their opponent. 17-6, 2-2 when the Bruins have more, as it's covered up by Smith just outside the crease with 7:40 remaining in the middle frame. After today's contest, the Manchester Monarchs will have a bid against St. John's at home tomorrow. They'll follow that up with a game against the Portland Pirates on Sunday, also in Manchester. The Bruins, meanwhile, have another 3-3 of their own. It's in Bridgeport tomorrow as the shot is kick saved by Jeremy Smith. Then on Sunday, they'll play the St. John's Ice Caps. Near side Camaro, wrister blocked, tipped through the circle by Bodnarchuk, who corrals it and gets it ahead. On the far side, Horvat puts it into the right wing corner, getting there beyond Eminger, driving it to the near side. Bruins trying to clear the zone as it's chipped up along the wall, but Grattan gets to the loose puck. He'll get around the Providence cage, leaves it in the trapezoid. Horvat back over to it, hacks it off the wall, held in by a Laverde glove, sends it off the boards again, back into the left wing corner. Bruins there first, though, driven away by Chris Casto. In neutral territory, it's retrieved by Vincent Laverde, the Monarchs captain, and tossed back into the far corner. Manchester gets a complete substitution minus the forechecker. Bruins put the puck over the red line. Auger loses track, but there to pick it up is Schultz, and a penalty coming up on Auger for a high stick or a hook, one of those two, as Randall drew it. Tyler hit the deck almost onto his back. So the Bruins will be headed on a man advantage. It's a hook on Auger as he finds the sin bin, spending his 38th and 39th minutes in the box to match his jersey number. So if it looks like Tyler Randall will head into the box as well. It's not too often you hear an embellishment penalty. So if that is in fact what happened, then Randy makes it a good one, if you can call it that. Looks like it'll be a holding the stick minor on Tyler Randall, who now has 102 penalty minutes this season. So it's another stretch of 4-on-4. For the second time today, the teams will have 2 minutes of it. Andrew Chernachan battles with Jordan Wheel in the near circle. It will be in the Monarchs' end, though, so Providence, should the team win the draw, still will have a chance for a scoring chance. Chernachan still standing as Wheel gets into position. Chern follows suit, and Wheel is kicked out before the puck gets dropped. Brian O'Neill will come over for it. His left skate just over the hash mark, his right skate trailing it. He'll put the stick down, backhand first, as Chernachan pushes it into the corner. Retrieved by Schultz in the trapezoid. 6 minutes and 30 seconds remain in the second as the Monarchs lead the Bruins 3-2. Wheel into the offensive end, stops along the left wing wall, puts it into the circle for O'Neill, tosses cross ice, but chipped away by Chernachan as it hops off of his stick and into the Monarchs bench. The Bruins have less than a month remaining in the regular season. The team has played 63 games with a baker's dozen to come, including tonight. That is, of course, not including the playoffs, should the team make it for a third consecutive season. In each of the last couple of years, those of you that have listened along know the tune. It's been a first-round success in 5 games, followed by a 7-game defeat at the hands of the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins in the second round. This year, depending on how the seeding goes, it's actually much more likely that the Bruins end up facing the Penguins in the first round rather than the second, should it come to that. Morrow into the zone, left wing side, wrister punched away by Berube. Wheel over to it in the far corner. The Penguins are 4th in the conference, the Bruins 5th. And right now the Penguins have a somewhat comfortable lead. The Bruins with the same advantage over the Pirates. However, Portland has the tiebreaker over Providence. So the Bruins will have to finish ahead of the Pirates, and if they want to be ahead of the Penguins, ahead of them as well. Tiebreakers won't help them. After it's an offside whistle to stop the clock again, we'll take another break almost halfway through the 4-on-4. It's the Monarchs 3 and the Bruins 2 on the Providence Bruins Broadcast Network.
What is NAMI-RI? NAMI stands for the National Alliance on Mental Illness. In Rhode Island, NAMI offers free education and support programs to those living with mental illness and their loved ones. Serious mental illness affects 1 in 4 Rhode Islanders each year. Find out more about NAMI-RI, its outreach programs, and its 30-year history of service at www.nami-rhodeisland.org or call 401-331-3060.
Now, deep breath. Tell me what's on your mind.
Chocolate.
Isn't chocolate always on your mind?
Yes, but with Dunkin's Mocha Swirl Iced Coffees and new chocolate croissants, it's become an obsession.
With that much chocolatey deliciousness, obsession is quite natural.
Calling all chocolate lovers. Get your afternoon chocolate fix with Dunkin' Donuts Mocha Swirl Coffees and Lattes or a deliciously sweet new chocolate croissant.
The Bruins and Monarchs are in the midst of a 4-on-4. 5.5 minutes to go in the second, 50-plus seconds remaining on the 4-on-4, with Manchester leading by a goal. The Monarchs have 20 shots, the Bruins have 15, and Malcolm Subban has been chased from the game. Steve Eminger in the far side of his zone takes a shove, trying to get the puck away. Unable to do so. Behind the net, Dowd wrapping around, but he's stripped along the way. Penalty coming up on the Bruins, heading back toward the bench is Berube. But before he could even get over the blue line, the whistle blows. The last time that Malcolm Subban allowed 3 goals in a game was in the second game against the Admirals on February 28th at the Scope. Before that point, he gave up 5 goals against the Hershey Bears on the 22nd in overtime. So it had been a bit of a struggle, but on last Saturday, or rather a couple of Saturdays ago, he allowed 1 goal, making 42 saves against the Falcons here. Then last Saturday, he had a 19-save shutout also against Springfield. So he had played much more effectively lately, but unfortunately, he could not get through the second period. Steve Eminger into the box for a penalty as the Bruins clear to start the kill. Providence this season on the man disadvantage is 14th in the league, allowing 38 goals and 244 opposing tries. That's an 84.4% kill rate. The team, however, has scored 5 shorthanded goals. The Monarchs, as we mentioned briefly at the top of the broadcast, are the best team in the league on the power play with a 20.9% conversion rate, a 53-goal mark in 253 chances. Now it's a 5-on-4 as the 4-on-4, or rather 4-on-3 comes to an end. On the far side, Gravel over to it, 40 seconds into the power play. In the right wing circle, Wheel looking for O'Neill, but hacked away in the length of the ice by Justin Florek. The Monarchs have allowed only 2 shorthanded goals for opponents, which is tied for the fewest in the league, along with the Charlotte Checkers. And just to show how screwy special teams can be, the Checkers, who are 27th in the league on the man advantage, have allowed just 2. So it's really no indicator of how good a power play unit you are as to whether or not the opposing team can score on your man advantage. 3:45 is left in the second as the Bruins are down by a goal and down a man for the next 30 seconds. Steve Eminger in the box. On the left side is Nick Dowd. He'll toss it to the right wing hash marks. Laverde takes a hit from Camara. Anthony gets the puck and slaps it to the other end as it rolls into the near corner. And Berube's left. Providence gets another change, most likely the last one of the penalty kill. As the Monarchs carry it through the neutral zone, it's off of Sabourin's stick. Retrieved by Cross. Looked like Sabourin never touched it, so instead it's icing on the visiting team. So the Bruins will have a chance shorthanded to get another bid on Jean-Francois Berube. 3:19 is left in the second as the Monarchs hold a 1-goal lead. Providence scored first. Manchester retaliated with a pair. The Bruins tied it, and the Monarchs retook the lead. 2-1 Manchester after one, and a goal apiece for the teams here in the second. Griffith versus Crescenzi is the matchup in the far circle of the Monarchs' end. One back to Kane, or rather Carey, his shot blocked. Sabrin retrieves it and pushes it back into the corner as Eminger hops onto the ice. The Bruins are back to even strength, and Bodnarchuk gets back over the blue line. Tosses it into the corner. Manchester getting ready for a swap as the Bruins possess it in their own end. Vandergulik unable to hold it in after the Providence clear. Back at the red line, Vandergulik looking to his left, passing over the line, but the Bruins intercept. Rifled back out by Trotman, off of a body in the neutral zone, gathered by Sabrin, who blocked the pass. His shot saved by Smith, and Jeremy covers up with 2:42 to go in the frame. The Bruins have 15 shots, the Monarchs with 22, and it's Manchester that has the lead. The Bruins, with 13 games left, have 6 here at home and 7 on the road, which means by the end of the weekend, they'll have fewer than a handful of games left here at the Dunk unless they make the playoffs. At this point, the team has an incredibly good chance of making it to postseason play. According to Sports Club Stats, which we examined before, the team has a 96.4% chance of making it, which is almost 40 full percentage points better than Boston in making the NHL playoffs. The Boston squad desperately hanging on to that 8th place spot right now, only a couple of points ahead of Ottawa. The Providence team, meanwhile, in 5th place in the East in the AHL. Over the blue line on the right wing side is Seth Griffith. He'll toss it toward Koklachev at the hash marks. Koko approaching the corner, falls over as he takes a shove from Vandergulik. Back over is Carey to help, trying to toss it along the wall, but Wheel intercepts and clears. Casto cuts him off and chops the puck backward into the Providence end as Eminger picks it up. Steve retrieves it as the Monarchs get a change. The Bruins a few new forwards as well. Floric puts it off the boards and into the offensive zone, but just out of the reach of Griffith. Wheel has his pass intercepted. Floric trying to muscle it into the corner. Recovered by Chernachan. He'll glove it down, but retrieved along the line by O'Brien. Zach O'Brien with one of the 3 Monarchs goals as it's retrieved by Manchester with fewer than 90 seconds to go in the frame. On the far side, it's shoveled over the red line. Eminger over to it, almost lost an edge in between the benches. Walks back into the zone. Cross ice for Chernachan. Andrew turns around and dumps it into the corner. Floric shot tipped by Flick in front, but the save made by Berube. Back in the neutral zone are the Monarchs as Miller gets a piece to guide it into the Providence end. Manchester getting a complete substitution and Providence getting some new forwards. Chernachan guides it toward the crease, tipped away by Berube. Monarchs clear again, and it's Trotman on the other side of the Providence line who hacks it off the boards. Flick getting it cross ice into the zone for Camara. Anthony stopping short to avoid contact. Sexton retrieves it. Camara wraparound blocked. Gathers the puck in the slot. Does Laverde for the Monarchs. He'll pick up the red line and the blue, getting crushed along the wall as he put it in the trapezoid. On the far side, Mersch, backhander, goes wide. Retrieved by the Monarchs. Backman puts it in the trapezoid. Down over to it, but the whistle blows to stop the clock with 24.3 seconds remaining in the period. The near post escaped the confines of the crease, which stopped the clock. And the Monarchs will have another offensive zone draw. Manchester looking to add some insurance. Neither team is led by more than a goal this evening. Providence at 1-0, Manchester 2-1, and the current score of 3-2. It's a defensive swap for Providence. The draw coming to the left of Jeremy Smith. Jordan Wheel on it for the visiting team as the officials are still tending to Smith's cage. Looks like they'll have a Dunkin' Donuts Center employee come out to stabilize it with the drill. Doesn't look like a long fix though, as the players will hang around in the Providence zone. As we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, the Bruins are in danger of losing their first game in regulation here at the Dunk in more than 2 months. Back on January 11th, the Bruins were defeated 5-2 by the Portland Pirates. Since then, the team has had one loss, and it came in a shootout a week ago. The Bruins scored only 1 goal against the Lehigh Valley Phantoms in 67 minutes, and then allowed a goal in the shootout for the defeat. After that, though, Providence scored 5 times in the third against the Springfield Falcons last Saturday at the Mass Mutual Center. Then they followed up with a 4-goal performance against the Norfolk Admirals. As it's into the slot, guided wide, Smith diving on top of it, just as right before the whistle blew, rather, as a couple of Monarchs creeped in toward the crease. Only 14 seconds and change remain here in the middle period, as a decent crowd here at the Dunk roots on the Providence Bruins. It's another draw on the far circle for Manchester. It's second in a while, this time with the top line out there. Jordan wheel over to it, falling to a knee to win possession is Ethan Werrick. Back behind the cage for the Bruins is Werrick. He'll toss it to the left wing side of the zone. Knocked out by Trotman, who takes a shove after the puck gets knocked away, and the Bruins carry it back in, but Morrow unable to get a shot off before the period comes to an end. After 40 minutes, it's still a Monarchs lead by 1 goal, this time at 3-2. We'll be right back after these messages with the second intermission report on the Providence Bruins Broadcast Network. It's time to take a look at the game sheet before period number 3, as the Providence Bruins briefly tied it only 96 seconds into the second. Seth Griffith had his 12th goal of the year, while Alexander Koklachev and Joe Morrow had the assist on the Providence power play goal. That made it 2-2, but fewer than 3 minutes later, Zach O'Brien scored his 12th of the season, while David Vandergulik had the only assist on the play and made it a 3-2 edge. In the middle period, the Monarchs outshot the Bruins 10-4, which means through 2 periods, it's Manchester 22 and Providence 15 in that category. The Bruins are 1 for 2 on the power play, the Monarchs 0 for 1. Malcolm Subban has 12 saves on 15 shots. Jeremy Smith a perfect 7 of 7, while Jean-Francois Berube is 13 of 15. When we come back, we'll have period number 3 for you as the Bruins take on the Monarchs for the final period in the regular season before their last matchup of the year here in April. You are listening to Providence Bruins Hockey on the Providence Bruins Broadcast Network. The Bruins are down a goal heading into the third as Manchester has the 3-2 lead. The Monarchs trying to win in this building for the first time this season. The only previous wins in the season set for the Monarchs all came in their home building. Manchester, just like the Bruins, is one of the best teams in the league at home. The Monarchs at this point in the league, in the season rather, at Verizon Wireless Arena are 25-7-1-0, which means they are the best team in the league in that category. The Bruins third in both the conference and the league at 23-8-0-1. The only team with fewer losses than the Bruins, as well as the Monarchs, is the Hershey Bears, 23-6-3-1 in that same situation at the Giant Center. The Bears are somewhat comfortably settled in the second spot in the Eastern Conference. For them, they'll most likely have a spot in the top half of the Calder Cup playoffs on the eastern side of things, though it's not a guarantee they'll win the division with the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins not all that far behind. There's an icing whistle on the Monarchs 13 seconds into the period, as the Bruins have 19:47 left to outscore the Monarchs by at least 1 to pick up a point or more today. Based on the playoff odds that we mentioned before, the Bruins will have a 99% chance of making the playoffs if they can average a point a game the rest of the way, which is not all that hard to do. Of course, against other teams fighting for playoff spots, it'll be that much more challenging. But based on the Bruins' current pace, a point a game is well within reason. Rob Flick in the right wing corner gets cut off by Vincent Laverde as they fight near the trapezoid for it. Dragged away up the far side wall as getting decked was Flick, and that will be a penalty for a cross-check to give the Bruins another man advantage. Providence is 1 for 2 on the power play so far tonight, and they'll have a chance to tie it up in that situation for the second time. This time around, it's Vincent Laverde heading to the box as he spends his 55th and 56th minutes in there, playing in his 58th game for Manchester this season. The draw will be in the right wing circle as Providence starts the 5-on-4. Seth Griffith wins the draw with some help. At the far point is Eminger. Rister tipped wide in front. Schultz going for it, jumping up to make the stop as Berube. It bounced off of Jeff Schultz, and he lost track of it. Berube behind him didn't see it right away, but was able to get there in time to prevent a bouncing puck in the crease. A scary moment for the team on the penalty kill just as it begins. And it will be another draw in the same spot. Seth Griffith cutting back out toward the outside of the circle before getting into position. Carey to his left in the slot. Koklachev on the right wing wall. Morrow cheating in, not all that far from Carey. And Eminger along the blue line. Sent into the trapezoid. Back around is Carey. To the left point for Morrow. Far side for Eminger. Back to Morrow, top of the slot. Slap pass to the left wing wall. Griffith into the circle. Rister wide of the cage. It's on the far side. Koklachev vying for it along with Carey. But Miller sends it up the wall. Held in at the hash marks. Griffith back to Morrow at the line. Right side for Eminger. Morrow again at the top of the slot. Slap pass to Griffith again, similar to how the last portion of this power play went. Griffith cutting back to the blue line, leaves it along the wall. Koklachev over to it. He'll get to the top of the slot. Far side, Eminger holds it, or Morrow rather. Rister in front, wide of the net. Ends up off of the netting in the left wing corner. 18:37 remains in regulation, with 1:12 to go on the Laverde cross-checking minor. The Bruins up a man, but down a goal. Providence has played significantly better here in 2015 than the team did to begin the season, and that mark has been especially the case here at home, with only one defeat since January 11th here. On the road, they've been markedly better as well, starting with that road trip for 5 games they had in Norfolk and Pennsylvania, playing all 3 Keystone State teams. Back in the neutral zone is Joe Morrow. He'll get back over the red line as the Monarchs get a change and backhands it into offensive territory. Gravel there, wrists it off the boards, and that will go the length of the ice. Jeremy Smith settling it in between the lines of the trapezoid as Providence gets the puck and a line change. The Monarchs completing their previous swap. Just outside the line is Florek. He'll pass it cross ice for Koklachev. Koko on the right wing wall. Puts it back into the corner. Florek over to it, wrapping around the cage near side to Griffith. Seth at the edge of the circle to Koklachev. Far side shot and a diving save by Berube. Retrieved on the near side and carried away just over the red line by Zach O'Brien. Another swap for both teams with 5 seconds to go on the Providence power play. Griffith into the zone. Cross ice pass. Held in by Trotman, waving at it as the penalty comes to an end. Backhanded into the trapezoid. Seth Griffith along the left wing wall. Approaching the hash marks. Leaves it for Ethan Werrick. Ethan behind the cage has help from Justin Florek as the Bruins cycle players off of the bench. Along the boards, Backman unable to stay there. Phillips, a wrister wide, retrieved by Florek in the right wing corner. Back toward Phillips in the slot, his shot blocked. Picked up by Backman, who will carry it back over the red line and more. His slapper on net, and Smith holds on. He had to because Wheel was sneaking in. 16:52 remains in the third as Providence is being outshot by 6 and outscored by 1. It's hard to believe that this is the second to last weekend in March, as the Bruins have 5 games remaining this month. Tonight, tomorrow in Bridgeport, Sunday against St. John's here, next Friday in Hartford, next Saturday in Portland, and the team will go straight from Portland, or from Hartford to Portland after next Friday's game. In April, the team will have consecutive games in St. John's to start it before they head back home for one of their 4 remaining home games. They'll take on the Worcester Sharks for a home-and-home on the 10th and 11th. Finish up on Sunday in their season series with the Hartford Wolfpack. Then the following Friday, their last game against the Worcester Sharks ever, unless they play in this year's playoffs. The following Saturday, their last road game in Portland against the Pirates. And then a Sunday afternoon contest here at 3:05 against the Monarchs. It's covered up by Smith from inside the crease as he reached out toward the trapezoid for it. And the Monarchs will have another offensive zone draw, already up by a goal. The Bruins scored first this evening, but Manchester scored 2 in a row to take the lead, allowed a game-tying goal, and then scored again to retake the advantage. Ryan Horvat is on it opposite Ben Sexton, as Sexton wins it into the corner. Collected by Tommy Cross. Tommy gets a couple of stick checks from Scott Sabourin, who he fought with earlier. Sabourin with an assist today on a Josh Gratton goal, one of the 2 that put the Monarchs on top. Back in his own end is Frankie Simonelli, a late addition to the lineup today because Chris Breen got sick. And Gratton carries it back in offside after the turnover. After the whistle, a bit of shoving between Gratton and Camara, though it appears that's all it was, with the officials over to prevent it from developing further. The Bruins have Camara, Sexton, and Randall from left to right, forward-wise. Cross and Simonelli, the defensive pairing. The draw comes just outside the Providence zone. Horvat on it again. Sexton leaves it for Camara, tipped back into Providence territory for Cross. Retrieved by Horvat, who slips it right back in, but over is Simonelli to glove it down and carry it through the neutral zone. On the far side, Randall going to the right wing corner. Has support from Camara. Anthony hacks it off the wall and it's intercepted. Manchester coming back 3-on-3 on the near side. Sabourin gains the blue line and risks it in. Horvat colliding with Sexton along the wall. Simonelli there as well behind the Bruins cage, and Smith covers up. Cross getting into it again with Gratton after the whistle, as Tommy's aggression has not calmed down one bit. 15:28 remains in the third at the dunk, as the Bruins are down by 1. Both the Portland Pirates and the Worcester Sharks are in the top 9 in the Eastern Conference behind the Bruins, which means that depends on how the Hartford Wolfpack do the rest of the way. There's a chance the Bruins could be one of 4 teams within their division to make the playoffs. Ethan Werrick on the left wing wall, going toward the trapezoid, but pushed away from the puck in the process. Retrieved by a falling Miller, who puts it up the wall. Held in by Eminger, his wrister blocked. Retrieved on the near side. Corey Kane to the hash marks. Goes around the circle with the puck. His backhander blocked from behind. And it's hacked over the line, or rather to Zach O'Brien just inside the line. He'll push it into Providence territory with a pass cross ice for David Vandergulik. Centering feed blocked, retrieved behind the cage by O'Brien. Goes into the slot, backhander blocked as well. Retrieved in the circle by Laverde, who risks it along the wall. On the far side, Vandergulik takes a shove from Casto, but keeps the puck. Tips it out toward the crease, and Smith covers up again. That's the third time in the last few minutes that Jeremy has had a loose puck in his general direction, and has been able to cover up while players from neither team were very close. "14 minutes and 31 seconds potentially separate the Monarchs from their 85th and 86th points of the season. The Bruins, meanwhile, vying for 78 and 79. as we approach the end of March. The draw is won in the far circle by Seth Griffith, and the Bruins are able to clear. Back in neutral territory is Carey, up to Griffith. He's stripped from behind, but gets back to it in the slot, tipped to the blue line. Morrow unable to hold it in. He'll backtrack a little bit and get it cross ice. Being challenged is Koklachev. Trotman now back to Morrow in the Providence end. Griffith over the red line, passes over the blue. Carey puts it in the corner. Bruins get a defensive swap. Put into the trapezoid, but Dowd intercepts. He'll hack it off the boards. Backman coming over the Providence line. His pass into the slot, retrieved by Dowd, holding, but ran out of space and time to try to get a bit on Smith. Instead, he'll put it behind the cage. Mersch over, takes a shove from Casto. Mersch another hit, puts it back up the wall. At the point is Laverde. Far side forward Gravel. His pass into the corner, shot tipped over the cage and off the glass. At the right point, Laverde shot, pad save Smith beyond Backman's reach. Over to it for the Bruins to slow things down a little bit was Carey, and the Bruins will go for a change. Casto up ahead, backhanded into the zone for Griffith, and he'll be the last one back to the bench on the substitution. Just over 13 minutes remain in the third with the Bruins down 3-2. Manchester scoring twice to take a 2-1 lead in the first and retaliating after the Bruins tied it in the second. Neither team has scored since as Auger controls behind his cage. He's stripped by Floric. Forward fighting for it, knocks it into the near circle. Knocked off the wall. Flick Rister from just inside the blue line goes wide. On the far side is O'Neill, unable to clear. Has help from Gravel. Chipped off the wall, Floric keeps it in. Eminger putting it off the boards again. Floric giving another effort. Retrieved in the right wing hash marks. Rister in front for Chernichan, tipped wide by Flick. Flick back to it on the left wing side. He'll go along the wall into the slot for Cross. Tommy Rister saved by Berube. On the screen in front was Flick, but Berube makes the stop. We'll take another break with 12.5 minutes to go in the third, with the Bruins down by 1 on the Providence Bruins Broadcast Network.
Not looking forward to tax season? Worry no more. With Premium Tax Accounting and Insurance, they can take care of it for you. We will be able to revise your policies of life, home, and auto insurances if you find yourself busy and can't take care of it. Give us a call today at 877-362-7703 or stop by our offices at 356 Manton Ave in Providence, Rhode Island. We are open until 5 o'clock Monday through Friday. Check our Facebook page out at Premium Tax and Accounting or our website at www.taxactons.com. Don't sweat about getting your taxes in on time ever again. We look forward to seeing you. Looking for an amazing bakery? Look no more. Stop on by Taunton Avenue Bakery, located in East Providence, for the best local Portuguese bakery. We serve fresh baked goods that are health conscious and delicious. Our desserts are made with only the finest ingredients. All of our breads are fresh baked daily. Every day we make chorizo sandwiches, bakery pizza, St. George cheese, and a Portuguese roll, and our famous shrimp and beef cakes. We also bake Portuguese sweetbread and rolls every day. Make sure you like us on Facebook at Taunton Avenue Bakery. Once again, located on 208 Taunton Ave, East Providence, or call us at 401-434-3450 today.
The Bruins are down 1 goal to the Manchester Monarchs, 3-2 the score. Providence with 19 bids against Jean-Francois Berube. The Manchester Monarchs with 26 against the combination of Malcolm Subban and Jeremy Smith. Jeremy is a perfect 11 for 11 thus far. Malcolm was 12 for 15. And a tripping penalty will set the Bruins back, at least for now. Going into the box for Providence is Paul Carey, spending his 19th and 20th minutes in the sin bin this season. The Bruins will have Cross and Trotman on the ice defensively, while Sexton and Randall are the forwards to start the penalty kill. Jordan Wheel will take the draw for the visiting team on the man advantage, as Sexton kicks at it with both legs, first the left, then the right, and Randall carries it away. Tyler backhands it off the glass and into the offensive zone, following up on the forecheck. Stopping short of making contact in the trapezoid was Jean-Francois Berube, since he came out rather nonchalantly to tend to the puck. Tipped into the offensive end for the power play team. Trotman back over to it though. His pass off the boards. On the near side, chipped off the glass, but hit the netting on the way up, which will stop the clock with 1:32 to go on the carry minor, and 11:52 remaining in the third. Providence will get a 4-skater change while down a player. Defensively, Casto and Eminger onto the ice. Flick will take the draw. And into the circle is Justin Floric, or rather into the slot. Wheel again on it for the visiting team. Chipped back off the wall at the right point. Miller looking for O'Neill into the circle. Wheel, wrister over the cage. On the screen was Mersch. And no one in a Monarchs jersey could get to it before it goes over the red line. 1:15 remains on the carry minor. Manchester up by 1. O'Neill falls over as he got over the blue line, trying to slow things down to prevent his teammates from being offside, but unable to do so. So it'll be another draw coming just outside the Bruins line. Getting right up close to the dot is Dowd for Manchester. Sexton slowly following suit, pushing forward and letting Steve Eminger knock the puck away. Casto clears it, and Berube settles it as Manchester tries another rush halfway through the man advantage. On the far side of the zone is Bondarchuk, his wrister into the crease, gobbled up by the glove of Smith as Dowd was trailing just in case there was a chance for redirection. The Bruins trying to avoid their first regulation loss here in more than 2 months, and their first regulation defeat in general in a while. The Bruins' last defeat came on Friday in a shootout. Before that, they had an OT loss in Hershey on the 22nd. The night before in Wilkes-Barre, they had a regulation defeat, 2-0 at the hands of the Penguins. The Monarchs, meanwhile, trying to continue their win streak, if you can call it that. Their last game of victory against St. John's, as the team has won 3 of its last 4 with an OT loss sandwiched in that stretch, as the shot in the slot is tipped away back to the other end of the sheet. 50 seconds remain on the carry minor, with just more than 11 minutes remaining in regulation. It's the Monarchs 3 and the Bruins 2. Back into the zone for the Monarchs was Backman, but wristed away by Chernachan. The Monarchs haven't been able to get too much going on the power play today, especially in this man advantage, as Dowd tosses it back over the blue line. Mersch puts it in the corner. Dowd back to the line for Bondarchuk. Right side for Laverde. Back to Bondarchuk at the point. He'll pass to the left wing half wall. Gets it back, top of the slot. Slapper save. Rebound saved as well. Rebound knocked off of Smith and in. A great third effort from Michael Mersch. Doubles the Monarchs' lead and expands it to a 2-goal advantage, something that neither team had had yet in the contest. Jeremy Smith, while falling over, was able to make a couple of impressive stops, but it was the third that beat him inside the far post. The crowd tries to get the Bruins back into it. Let's go Bruins, the chant. At center ice, Ethan Warwick on it for the Bruins, but it's won by Crescenzi and the Monarchs. It's a power play goal for Manchester. It's the second power play goal of the game. Seth Griffith had one to tie the game at 2 back in period number 2. Derek Forbort in the far side of his zone pushes it ahead, and over for the Monarchs is Colin Miller, who actually has a feature on him up on both the AHL and NHL sites right now. Jeremy Smith covers up outside the crease just before the halfway point of the period, and Manchester has expanded its advantage to 4-2. It's another offensive zone draw for the visiting team, as the Monarchs have scored the only goal this period just a few moments ago on the power play. Zach Phillips feeds it head off of Corey Kane's stick. Corey unable to get it, and since he was on the wrong side of the red line, that will be icing on the home squad. .9:52 is left in the third, as Providence is down by a pair. The Bruins scored the first goal, Manchester the next two. Providence tied it early in the second, and shortly thereafter, a goal for the Monarchs as Smith covers that one up just inside the crease. Then after the whistle, Morrow gets shoved on top of Smith, and Ethan Werrick getting into it a bit with Josh Gratton. We'll take another break here in the third, just beyond the halfway point. The Monarchs have a 2-goal edge on the Providence Bruins Broadcast Network.
Now, deep breath. Tell me what's on your mind.
Chocolate.
Isn't chocolate always on your mind?
Yes, but with Dunkin's Mocha Swirl iced coffees and new chocolate croissants, it's become an obsession.
With that much chocolatey deliciousness, obsession is quite natural.
Calling all chocolate lovers. Get your afternoon chocolate fix with Dunkin' Donuts Mocha Swirl coffees and lattes, or a deliciously sweet new chocolate croissant. America runs on Dunkin'. Price participation may vary. Limited time offer.
Have you ever gone to your coffee shop in the afternoon to grab a sandwich only to find it closed? Next time, get your mid-afternoon pick-me-up at Alibi Cafe in the heart of the Jewelry District at 18 Bassett Street. A deli by day and cafe by night, Alibi is the place to get your fresh coffee and pastries in the morning, then catch a game on our flat-screen TVs after lunch. Grab your breakfast sandwich as early as 7:30 a.m. and drink the night away until 1. At Alibi Cafe, if we're closed, you're sleeping.
The Bruins have their work cut out for them, that much is certain. They have less than half a period to outscore the Monarchs by 2 if they're going to take it to overtime. Zach Trotman, as he approaches the near circle, has a chat with Joe Morrow. The draw coming in the Providence end. Andrew Chernachan into the circle against Jordan Wheel. It's on the near side, which is the right wing side, as Schultz has a slapper straight into the knees of Jeremy Smith. Jeremy collapsing them onto the puck for another draw coming in the same location. For just the second time this season, the Bruins starting goaltender was chased from the game. This time it was Malcolm Subban, who was unable to get to it in time. He made 12 saves on 15 shots on a pretty rough first period and beginning of the second. Now Jeremy Smith has given up a goal today as well, as Auger has a shot blocked. Smith gets decked, and that'll be a penalty for sure. Auger gets knocked over at the edge of the crease, and a fight breaking out in 3 different places. Wheel trying to get into it as he's separated from the pile. Auger going into a bear hug along with Anthony Camara, and Smith had his helmet knocked off as he waits on the far edge of the crease. So although it won't be easy, the Bruins should get another chance to pull back within 1 on the power play. And it's the kind of thing you'd hate to see if you're a Monarchs fan, just that they would commit a penalty like that just after expanding the lead. So the scuffle will lead to another Providence man advantage. Justin Auger back in the box for the second time this evening. It's not over just yet, folks, despite the fact that the Monarchs have outshot the Bruins by 10. Let's go Bruins is the chant from the crowd as Providence tries to get it going. Steve Eminger is the lone defenseman on the ice as the Bruins move to a 4-forward power play situation for the first time in quite a while. Alexander Koklachev will take the draw. Seth Griffith runs the near point. Zach Phillips is all along the left wing wall, and Justin Florek is in the slot. It's goalie interference on the visiting team as Auger remains in the box yet again. That's what gives the Bruins the power play. One back toward Griffith, but it was whistled dead before they ever got to it. So they'll have to try again, even though the crowd isn't all that happy with it. Koklachev on it again, on the left wing side. Sends it toward the corner, but Forbort intercepts his pass to the far side, and the Monarchs clear as it goes harmlessly behind Jeremy Smith's cage. Koklachev back to the far side looking for Steve Eminger as Eminger gets it back over the line. Koklachev left wing side, tosses it toward the corner, but it's intercepted and cleared once again by the visiting team. Smith settles it outside his cage, and Eminger leads another rush. The last time that both Subban and Smith played in a game together happened to also be the only time they've done that this season, as Griffith puts it back into the corner for Koklachev. Back to Griffith, left wing side. Koklachev at the goal line, into the slot. Wrister for Florek over the cage. Back in the far corner is Koko looking for Phillips. Glove toward Florek. Koklachev along the far side wall. Battling for it, knocked away. Retrieved by Miller, who sends it into the trapezoid. Griffith racing to the near corner for it. Tosses it along the wall to himself. Trying to guide it back toward the line. Keeps it instead. Into the circle he goes. Cuts back out. Passes down low. Shot for Phillips off the side of the net. Over to it is Schultz. He's stripped. Florek toward the loose puck. Into the circle. Now back to Griffith at the left wing wall. Seth into the circle. Passing cross ice. Looking for Koklachev back towards Phillips, but it's wide. Eminger to the far side. Toward the slot. Phillips near side to Griffith. Seth holding. Wrister off the leg of Schultz with 20 seconds left on the power play. Griffith back to it at the left wing hash. Unable to tie the puck up, and it's cleared by Manchester once again. The only other time all season that Subban and Smith played was on November 7th here against the Portland Pirates. As Malcolm Subban made 9 saves on 11 shots, he was pulled, and Jeremy Smith made 13 saves on 15 shots, but got the tough luck defeat. Ethan Werrick will go back into the neutral zone, but it's back at even strength. His pass into the corner is intercepted, and it's controlled by Vandergulik on the near side. Manchester 4 and Providence 2 the score with just more than 7 minutes to go at the dunk. Chernachan drives it wide off of the glass, picked up by Laverde, who is able to clear. In the neutral zone, Morrow trying for it. Vandergulik knocks it backward into his own end. There to retrieve it is Andrew Crescenzi as the Bruins get a swap and the Monarchs get one as well. Although at the NHL level, a matchup between these squads, the Kings and the Bruins, would be one that features a couple of teams fighting for playoff spots. Here in the AHL, it's a couple of teams vying for better playoff position, or at least in the Monarchs' case, clinching the top seed. Entering today's contest, Manchester is not only first in the conference, but also first in the league. That's despite the fact that they have a game in hand on the Grand Rapids Griffins, who have 2 fewer points, and are the second overall team, unless you count the Bears, who are 1 point behind Manchester but have 1 more game played. So in terms of win percentage, the Monarchs on top. In terms of points, the Monarchs on top, despite the fact they haven't played as many. On the far side, Randall leaves it. Sexton puts it over the red line. Camara backhands over the blue into the far corner. Forward gets there, almost going skates first into the boards. Instead on the near side, Cross getting it through the left wing circle. He'll cut back to the line, spinning around near the boards. Puts it in the corner, but off of Camara's stick. Gathered by Laverde, who pushes it back up the wall. Backtracking is O'Neill, but pestered by Ben Sexton. Sexton stripped in the trapezoid. On the far side, penalty coming up. Miller was shoved, and it's a delayed call going against the Bruins. So it will be that much tougher for Providence with 5:45 to go. We'll tell you who's headed to the box and why right after these messages in a 4-2 game in favor of Manchester on the Providence Bruins Broadcast Network.
Whether it's for a memorial service, commercial, or even residential use, Albanese Monuments has you covered. We specialize in monuments and markers, cemetery lettering, landscape rocks, address rocks, commercial signs, and much more. Servicing all cemeteries in Massachusetts and Rhode Island. For more information, visit us online at www.albanesemonuments.com or give us a call at 508-678-7801. Feel free to stop in at 303 State Road in Westport, Mass, Monday through Friday 9 to 5 and Saturday 9 to 3.
If you listen closely, you can hear Old Man Winter whistling just around the corner, and that means that time is running out to get everything done on your fall to-do list, which makes John Deere's last call for fall event pretty timely. With awesome deals and great financing on everything from riding lawnmowers to compact utility tractors, you'll be whistling your own tune all the way to the proverbial bank. The last call for fall event ends October 29th, so get into your local John Deere dealer today.
The Bruins are down a pair of goals and one player for the next 2 minutes, as Anthony Camara is in the box this time around. 5:45 remains in the third, with Manchester scoring at least once in each period to hold a 4-2 lead. On the near side of the offensive end is Zach O'Brien, already with a goal tonight, trying to put it back toward the blue line but intercepted. Flick back 2-on-2 with Floric, drives it on net from outside the blue line, and Berube is forced to make the save 11 seconds into the power play. The Monarchs have outshot the Bruins 29-20 to this point in the game. They outscored them 2-1 in the first. The teams matched at 1 goal apiece in the second. And here in the third, the lone goal has come for the visitors. Flick on the draw, but beat by Dowd. Back behind the Manchester cage now is Miller with it. Colin Miller puts it back over the red line. Forbort into the offensive end. Near side for Dowd. To the far side, Backman in the trapezoid. Poked away by Eminger. O'Brien back for the loose puck. Sends it to the left wing wall. Miller at the point. Slapper blocked. Recovered in the circle. And the shot is saved by Smith. Into the near corner it goes. Waving at the puck is Justin Floric. Retrieved by Backman to the right point. Forbort entering the circle. Back to O'Brien at the hash marks. To Forbort again as he walks the line. To O'Brien into the circle again at the dot. Rister blocked wide. Retrieved by Miller, who tosses it off the foot plate. Retrieved in the trapezoid by the Bruins. Casto sends it off the glass beyond the reach of Forbort. And that goes on target at Berube at the other end. 55 seconds remain on the Camara holding minor with 4:35 to go in the third. Manchester up by a pair. In the neutral zone is O'Neill back on the right wing side. Pass toward the top of the crease, knocked away. Cross back to it along the wall, wristing it further off the boards, but recovered by Michael Mersch. He'll tip it to Jordan Wheel along the half wall. Now for Vincent Laverde. Cross able to clear it as it's launched up over the Monarchs bench and out of play. .416 remains in the third, with the Bruins down by a pair. With the win, the Monarchs would pull back ahead in the season series at 13 points. For the Bruins, the question is whether they can match that 13 with an overtime or shootout loss, or they'll stay at 12 if they lose in regulation. Laverde, slot pass over to Bondarchuk. Pass through the slot off the stick of O'Neill. Back to it is Wheel to the blue line. Laverde back to Bondarchuk again, left point. Pass toward Wheel, poked away by Sexton into the corner. And Trotman is able to get it over the line. Bondarchuk falls over in front of the Providence bench. Cross back to it. One man to beat for Sexton. Into the slot. Rister and a stick save by Berube. Over is Sexton during a Bruins defensive change. Still shorthanded for the next 2 seconds. Recovered by Wheel. And Camara hops out onto the ice, making it even strength. Into the zone comes Vandergulik during a change for both teams. He'll approach the right wing corner. Stripped by Warwick. Loose puck over toward Anthony Camara. Simonelli to it now as Frankie tosses it far side. Flipped over the red line by Randall, but tipped back out. Morrow gains the line in the left wing side as the Bruins complete another swap. He takes a few shoves from Gravel. Back to it, Warwick, turning around and his wrister blocked, ends up out of the zone. Wheel, or Auger rather, unable to carry it into the zone. Still gets it there, but the Bruins recover. Simonelli cross ice looking for Warwick, but way offside in the zone was Corey Kane for the Bruins. That is icing on the Monarchs, so it doesn't end up making a difference. 2:59 remains in the third, and for now, Jeremy Smith is still in between the pipes. The Bruins need 2 goals, down 4-2. Ethan Werrick will take the left wing circle draw. He readies for the drop. And he falls forward, unable to win possession for his team. Standing back up, vying for it on the slot edge of the circle, but it's recovered by Crescenzi, who muscles it behind the cage. Scott Sabourin chops it off the glass and out, and that will roll all the way back into the Bruins' end. Manchester gets a complete change. Smith heading out into the slot, and it looks like he'll finally be pulled, though now he's still in the zone. The Bruins controlling in their offensive end. Retrieved by Mersch, who hacks it to the other end of the ice. That will go for icing as Eminger wins the whistle. And that should push Smith out of his cage. He'll head back over to the bench as the Bruins get ready for a 6-on-5. Eminger back onto the bench as well. Casto enters the open door. Morrow and Trotman, the defensemen. Griffith in the far circle for the draw. Floric and Carey on the edge of the slot. Koklachev in the right wing at the hash marks. Won by Griffith. Koklachev gets a piece, guided to the blue line. Shot saved into the slot, but it was offside as Trotman was unable to hold it in, and Griffith got a piece after it bounced off a Monarchs player. 2:22 remains in regulation, with the Bruins down by 2. 31 shots for the Monarchs against Jeremy Smith and Malcolm Subban. 21 shots against Jean-Francois Berube for the Providence Bruins. Won by the Monarchs, retrieved by Forbort. He'll send it off the wall and through the neutral zone. Back into his own end is Trotman with it. Near side for Tommy Cross. Tommy gets it cross ice off the boards, intercepted at the red line. Griffith trying for it, tipped away from him, and back into the Providence zone. Just over 2 minutes remain as Trotman controls in the far corner. Now to Cross near side, puts it over the red line. Carey, cross ice for Trotman. Over the line, right wing side. Koklachev looking into the circle, but it's tipped away. Koklachev back to it now for Griffith. To the right point for Trotman. Back to Griffith, top of the circle. Wrister wide in front. Retrieved by Floric. Backhander saved. Rebound goes through the circle. Trotman back over to it. Wristed along the wall. Koklachev holding, or rather Griffith on the far side. Sends it off the boards and lost track. Vander Gulik able to clear. At the red line is Cross. Koklachev walks it back in. Far side for Griffith. Both teams changes. On the far side, retrieved by Forbort, who tries to clear 3 times. All of them blocked by Koklachev. Held in by Eminger. Left point for Morrow. Slapper, pad save by Berube. And he holds on to force a draw in his end with only 75 seconds remaining in the third. The Bruins have had a couple of decent scoring chances here on the 6-on-5, trying to finish strong against the Monarchs. An empty net at the other end of the sheet. Morrow and Eminger both on the ice defensively, so the Bruins aren't going to a 5-1. That would be an overly aggressive move, not to say it's bad. As Phillips gets it to the blue line, Morrow slapper tipped in front, retrieved in the far corner by Flick. Rob getting hacked at, sends it toward the line, but it's over Eminger and out of the zone. Racing back to retrieve it for the Monarchs in the trapezoid is Crescenzi. He'll tie it up along the wall, trying to kick it a few times. As the Bruins have 3 players there trying to knock it free. Falling in front is Crescenzi, and he backhands it in for an easy empty netter. It wasn't hard to keep possession, but to get the bid on while falling back over the goal line was the real challenge. And Crescenzi makes it a 3-goal edge for the visiting team. Five to 2 Monarchs is the score, which means this one is all but over. The Bruins about to lose their first game in regulation here at the Dunk in more than 2 months. On the near side is Joe Morrow. He'll wrist it off the glass. And it ends up in the far corner. Forbort chips it off the wall and pushed back into neutral territory. Sabourin over the blue line. Stripped as he approaches Morrow. Sexton back over to it, with Smith back in between the pipes. In the neutral zone, Camara waving at it and missing. Corralled by Sabrin, but he's pickpocketed by Sexton. The pass ahead beyond the reach of Tyler Randall with 25 seconds to go in regulation. The Monarchs about to win. The question is whether it's 5-2 or 5-3 should the Bruins put another one on the board. Launched into the near corner, but over for the Bruins is Tommy Cross. He'll hold it on the near side up to Camara. 5 seconds remain. Anthony into the zone, but without the puck. And the clock strikes 0. The Monarchs defeat the Bruins by 3 goals here at the Dunk to start the weekend. And Manchester pads its lead atop the Atlantic Division. We'll be right back after these messages with P Bruins Postgame Live on the Providence Bruins Broadcast Network.